Wow.
There it is. So there was a couple technical difficulties on Chris's side of things, so
Yeah.
I apologize for him for fucking everything up.
Yep, it's my fault. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. Welcome to Sedona, Arizona, where the internet sucks fucking dick. And not in the way that you want it to.
Right.
So, tonight. So, okay. This was funny about this cast is that Destiny texted me the other day and she's like, when are we doing a new cast? I want to come on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right. And we were going to do something. We had nothing. And of course, everyone always leaves it up to me to come up with an idea.
Well, duh.
And I'm like, all right, well, I'm watching Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I'm like, fuck it. Let's talk about it because I want to defend the shit out of this movie because I love it so fucking much.
Right.
And so then I text Destiny and then I'm like, oh, I'm going to get Chris on. And then last minute, I also decided to bring another special guest on, all of which are not Destiny. So this all started for Destiny and she's the only one not here.
What the hell?
Pretty funny. But tonight I am joined by Chris from the House of the Living Dead.
That's right.
And what's your name again down there? Bean?
Bean?
Hey, Bean.
Hello?
Mean Bean?
Mean
Green
bean?
beans, black
Green
beans, pinto bean.
Every kind of bean.
Every kind of bean.
Yes.
This is Kaylee. And we know each other.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Little known. Yeah. So, Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Now, I showed this to Kaylee last night. She had never seen it before, even though she was wearing a Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 TV shirt that I gave her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We're all wearing Freddy stuff, I guess. I didn't even put that together.
Freddy swag.
We're like those guys that show up at the concert with the the band shirt on.
Right.
It's okay. It's okay. But now what was really interesting and fun about showing her Nightmare on Elm Street 2 for the first time was not only is it my favorite film in the franchise, but I was curious on how someone new to the film was going to take it in 2021.
Right.
And I told her beforehand, I was like, hey, a lot of people hate this film and they hate it for a very specific reason. And I want you to try to figure out what that reason is throughout. I was just kind of like, I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm not going to say what that reason is. And throughout the movie, she was just like, I don't know. Like, they don't like that. She had some funny ones that she threw at me. And I'm like, no, that's not it. And then the movie was over and she still is kind of like, I don't know. Maybe like there's gay undertones or something.
Maybe.
Like,
just a little.
And I was like, that's it. Which is, it's
insane.
It's just, as I said in my review of this film, like saying something is gay. Hi, Father.
Hey.
What's everybody doing? It's it's senior citizen. Sinister senior cinema review.
Phillips had to fix that, but I'll let you.
What is it? Phillips head screwdriver?
Yes, that's okay.
He's gonna put four of them on his fingers. Where? Here? Hold on. Is it? No, that's a standard. Technical difficulties. What's up? Here it is. There we go. I need to get my own place, I think. What do you think? I need to get internet at my house. It's ridiculous.
Man.
But as I said on my review of this movie, it's like, if your only critique of the film is that you think that there's homosexuality in it, that's a really weird complaint. Like, that's not a complaint. That's not like, I don't like the film because of this or that. It's like there's gay stuff in it that I think is gay. Oh, and what does that mean exactly? I don't understand why that's a critique.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always been a weird one to me. You know, I grew up on this film, and this was before the internet, and this was before anyone really, I knew what anyone's opinion on the film was.
Right.
And it was my favorite film as a kid growing up because I'm a gay guy, I guess. Yeah. And I don't know. It's just, it's always, when I found out later on, I was just like, oh, okay. And so you don't like the Freddy in it? You don't like the character? You like not? And they're like, no, I just don't like that it's gay. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Kind of a weird ass like that's such a bizarre thing to have a problem with this with the movie. So Kaylee, what was your first impressions of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2?
Well, like I told you, I loved it. I didn't have any problems with it at all. There really isn't like a single part of it that I didn't like.
Yeah.
I feel like the pacing is great, the writing is great, the acting is great, all of the practical effects were amazing.
Right.
I definitely think Freddy was horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really fucking creepy. His eyes are just like, it's great. But yeah, I don't know. And like the gay undertone thing, it is really just a non-issue. Like it's there, but it's not like super in your face. So I don't really get why people were so put off by it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. And Chris, your thoughts on the film?
Yeah, I saw this when I was younger too. Believe it or not, this is one of the last ones I saw because this is a franchise I kind of watched out of order for whatever reason.
Heretic.
I know, but yeah, this is one of the last ones I watched. So when I first saw it, I wasn't the biggest fan of it because I saw a lot of the later ones first because I just expected Freddy to use more humor and be more quippy and be more lighthearted and fun. And this movie is not that, as you know. But as I've gotten older and the more and more I've watched, I'm like, this is one of the best ones. I'm crazy. It's like even watching it now, like the more I watch it, the more I love it. And I just watched it for the first time on VHS recently, which is a completely different experience than watching it on like DVD and Blu-ray. Like it's much more darker. There's less that you can see, but in like the most effective way. So I'm a defender of Part 2. I like Part 2 a lot.
Yeah. What was the first Nightmare on Elm Street you saw and when?
I think it might have been Dream Warriors was the first one I saw.
Okay.
And I was like probably 8 or 9, somewhere around there.
So you're like, I think that's part of it too, is like your exposure to Freddy was when he was already starting to go down the comedic route.
Right.
The welcome to primetime bitch and stuff like that. That's where he really starts to get pretty comical.
Yeah.
In the first one, I think that there's dark humor to an extent.
Yeah, there's a few lines here and there. It's like, okay, that's kind of funny, but in like a dark way and not right.
But Freddy is in no way, shape, or form even slightly comedic in this film.
No.
Like not for 1 second.
Nope.
And I think that's why I like Freddy so much in this one. I think the makeup is the best in the franchise.
I agree.
There's a scene, obviously, later on in the film where he's at the pool party and he comes out and there's a big burst of flames.
Yep.
And he like looks back at the family and his face is just
it's
terrifying. It's nothing like any of the other films. Like that Freddy is goofy by comparison. So this is a film that I legitimately find every single thing in it to be my favorite thing in the franchise. Like as much as, and I do like the other films. Don't get me wrong. I quite like the franchise. One through 5 anyway. And 7. I like 7.
I love New Nightmare. Yeah, I think that's a good one too.
Yeah. So number what? Yeah, that's Kaylee.
Oh, you got to come back here quick. He pulled the drawer out of the door. The thing today, it's been unreal.
Clearly, he needs help over there.
19 days.
19 days.
Oh, please come back.
I will.
We need you. Good seeing you again, honey.
Nice seeing you.
Well, you're getting a special treat tonight.
It's live. Anything can happen, man.
It's live. That's right. In case anyone hasn't guessed, Kaylee is my girlfriend. So this is like an introduction. Hi, everybody. But yeah. Anyway, I think like the characters are probably what makes the film for me. I'm a huge fan of Jesse. I think that he's definitely my favorite final girl, if that's what you want to call him.
Sure.
I mean, he very much acts like a girl in this movie. There's no doubt about that. He has a scream that rivals.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yep.
That's fantastic. So good.
And then and then Grady, of course. Grady's my favorite character in the film. Everything out of the guy's mouth is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
I literally every single time the guy's on screen, I'm smiling or laughing.
Especially when he's like, "What'd you get grounded for?" I pushed my grandma down the stairs. Like,
yeah, and I'm always like, "Did he really?" Or
yeah, that's the thing too. You're like, "Wait a minute, this guy actually maybe I don't know.
Maybe I don't know, man. He doesn't seem like he gives a fuck about much."
Mm-hmm.
So. And then Lisa, of course, those are the three mains, and then his father is really funny to me. Just the accusations throughout the film, and like I still can't get over that he thinks like he actually accuses him of stuffing a cherry bomb into a bird's ass and then blowing it up. Like, do you not know how big a cherry bomb is exactly, and how you're getting it inside a bird?
Yeah, I'm like, and that was your first thought?
Yeah.
That's what went to your brain?
A fucking cherry bomb went to that bird's brain, I guess.
Yeah,
you would think like a firecracker, right? Like one of those like thin ones that you could actually fit up his ass. I don't know. It's like that's such an interesting like the bird freaks out, kills the other bird, flies around the room, pecks at him, this whole shit, and then blows up. It's like, how long was this fuse? It would have been out of his ass. But yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. But the dad is he's just very accusatory with him. He doesn't really seem to like Jesse very much.
No, like right from the start, you kind of get that vibe. It's
yeah.
Like, yeah, something's off here, but
yeah. So, all right. So I guess we'll just kind of start at the beginning of the film. And I think right out the gate, this is my favorite music in the franchise. The like opening music that starts it when we get the title card. And then throughout the film, there's almost like this whale sound that's playing in the background. It's very odd and off-putting.
Yeah, the sound design in the score is very eerie. For sure.
Yeah. I guess I find it ironic that everyone calls this the gay one when I personally think this is the scariest one. So
I agree.
You would think the gay one would be like the most frilly and most like, less scary of them. But I don't know, man. Do I notice that there's gay undertones? Sure.
Right.
Sure. I mean, they go to a fucking queer S&M joint, as Grady calls it. And Snyder's there, and then he gets, stripped down and his ass is spanked, which is Kaylee's favorite part.
I love that scene so much. It's so good.
It's fucking
him like chewing his gum so casually throughout, and then Jesse just like showering and like staring at him like so awkwardly. It's fantastic.
So now, okay. I'm trying not to jump ahead to that scene, but because we're like talking about it, bringing it up, it's a very interesting scene because like what teacher is going to catch you drinking at a bar and then make you go back to the school and run away?
I feel like that's a dream sequence, to be totally honest. I mean, I know it's not really shot like a dream sequence, but I think it is because like So Grady mentions the S&M bar, and then Jesse has that, like, I think, as a dream, and Schneider's there. And I don't know, it just seems to make sense to me, especially the way that he's dressed. Like, I don't know if it really happened.
I don't think that's true. And the reason I don't think that's true is because Snyder dies at the school. Now, if the only way that would work is if Snyder stayed late at the school, fell asleep, and then Jesse fell asleep, and Freddy was able to invade both of their dreams simultaneously, bringing Jesse into Snyder's dreams. And Snyder dreams about going to the gay bar and catching one of his kids and making him like run laps, which would kind of make sense because he seems to have an obsession with Jesse and Grady to the point where he keeps making them work out and, you know, get sweaty and get in the shower. And he's clearly at a queer bar. I mean, the dude's gay. And, you know, maybe he's got a fantasy for some of his students. And, you know, so I guess it's possible that Snyder's asleep, but what we had discussed, and I'm more on the side of this, what Kaylee and I had discussed last night is that I believe that throughout the film, Jesse is sleepwalking.
Well, but that's the thing. When you're sleepwalking, you're dreaming. You're not just like, you know.
I understand that, but I still think that what we're seeing on the outside of the film is happening, and that Jesse is bringing Freddy into the world by sleepwalking. So, like, I think that Snyder does catch him at the bar. Snyder does bring him back to the school, makes him run laps, that shit. And then when Jesse morphs into Freddy, it's more of he's sleepwalking still, and he kills Snyder. Now, whether or not Freddy has to be showing himself to people, because people would not, like, at the party would not be reacting to Jesse just standing there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They see Freddy. Lisa sees Freddy.
Definitely.
So
I don't see any argument that Freddy is not, like, it's actually Jesse the entire film. I don't see the argument for it because of how people are reacting. How Grady reacts to Jesse fucking, like, being torn apart and he's screaming and free. He wouldn't do that if it was just Jesse standing up and being like, Grady, I'm going to come kill you. He'd be like, fuck you, I'm going to knock you out. You know what I mean? Like, but when you see a guy literally slice across and the fucking guy scream, like, the way Grady's reacting, he is seeing what he's seeing.
But the only thing I would argue with the pool scene is with, you know, if they're actually seeing Freddy or if they're seeing Jesse, is the dude just like, hey, calm down, we can help you. Like, I don't think he would do that to somebody that looks like Freddy. I think
But why would Grady be freaking out as much as he's freaking out?
Because Jesse's going fucking ape shit crazy on him.
No way.
I don't know.
No way. He's reacting to a guy. He's reacting to seeing a kid torn apart.
But that's the thing I love about this movie is that you don't really know for sure. Like, I think there's an argument for either side of that.
So Chris, I actually kind of thought a similar thing when at the pool scene, because the way that he does react is a little bit like too calm,
right?
If you were seeing a monster in front of you. But I also think that, like, Freddy plays with people's minds, so Grady could have been seeing what he thought he was seeing, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't still Jesse, you know?
Sure, right.
I mean, to be fair, if we want to see, I do not see it that way at all, and I'm just going to have to disagree with you.
That's fine. Like I said, I think there's an argument for both sides, you know?
The only thing that I could say on Grady's behalf, if I'm going to play devil's advocate and I'm going to argue your side of things, is that Grady does close his eyes because he says, you know, sleep tight, you know, and he goes and he lays down and closes his eyes, and then Jesse and him both wake up. I mean, Jesse's clearly asleep, and maybe Grady fell asleep for a second and Grady's dreaming. You know, that's possible. I mean, it's possible that he's dreaming. That's why he sees Freddy and all the people at the party. But the way that they like, Freddy jumps through the fucking glass doors and disappears. And they all are like, where did he go? How could Jesse fucking vanish into thin air? He could not.
I think it's Freddy using Jesse's body, though.
But he makes Jesse disappear, vanish from sight. No,
I mean, if he can climb out of Jesse's body and not kill Jesse, like, I don't know what kind of rules are.
In your interpretation of this, he's not climbing out of Jesse's body.
Well, but if he
Jesse's
so if
body's
he's
still
playing with
intact.
people's minds, like why couldn't he make himself appear to disappear to other people? Right? Like he could still be there, but
as you said, Lisa for sure sees Freddy.
yes,
Yes.
she does.
I do not see any
Definitely
argument
does.
against that. So
But I
how
think that's
is
the way
it
she
that
sees
only
Jesse when
Lisa
he's like that.
sees? Yeah, but how does it that only Lisa sees Freddy? Why would it be Freddy once and not the other times?
Because I think with Lisa, the case is that, you know, she's with Jesse throughout this whole thing. So when she sees Jesse acting like that, she sees the face of Freddy. You know what I mean?
No, it's either him or it's not. So she's either seeing him or she's not seeing him. It's either Jesse or it's Freddy. You know what I mean? Like she's either seeing Freddy outright, because he even burns up and then he pulls the fucking Freddy shit off of himself. Like he's literally removing what was under him from there. So to me, yeah, I see it as the people who are seeing, they're screaming and if Jesse just broke through the window and ran at a party, they would knock him the fuck out. The way everyone's reacting, they're reacting to a burned man. Yes, there's one guy that has the balls to be like, hey, listen, but everyone else is like this. To Jesse Walsh, the biggest pussy in the fucking world, there's no way people are screaming and fucking running from that kid. They just don't. And what does he do to make them run? He runs out through a window and people are like, oh my God, oh my God. And there's no way.
He's covered in blood. I don't know. It's kind of scary. No, I don't know. I feel like you can kind of see it both ways because like whenever he's Freddy, he also uses Jesse's voice. Mm-hmm. So I kind of feel like the lines can be blurred a little bit. But I mean, when we watched it last night, like I agree with you. I think that he is taking control of Jesse's body and like
100% he's using Jesse's body.
And he looks like him, but I just think that it's interesting that maybe it's an illusion and it's not quite I don't know, like it's not fully Freddy.
It's not fully Freddy, but I do think that the illusion is that Jesse is Freddy. And so everyone sees Jesse as Freddy, but it is Jesse's body that's doing it. So, yeah, the way everyone's reacting to him, it's just not the little 17-year-old gay kid who's never done a push-up in his life. I don't see that being scary to anybody. And they're like, literally 30 people at a party are like running to their death.
Now, do you think that applies throughout the whole film or just like from the pool party onward? Like, do you think the Coach Snyder stuff, do you think it's there for that scene or do you think that's Jesse as well?
I mean, yeah, Jesse's there. And I think that when he kills people, he sees himself wearing the glove. He's covered in blood because at that moment he relinquishes Jesse back his body and his like the way he looks, and he gets to see himself. And even when he looks at himself in the mirror, he sees Freddy.
That's towards the end, though.
Yeah,
no, that's in Grady's room.
Well, yeah, I guess it's not like quite at the end, but so
it's like right before the third act starts.
Yeah, when he kills Schneider, isn't Jesse watching those separately? Like he watches him get pulled with the jump ropes, and like it's sort of like a third person perspective. So he see Freddy as separate in the beginning, like he's always seeing him outside of himself.
No. So what happens in that scene is that Schneider is pulled in, Jesse watches it, and then Jesse's in the corner of the shower. The steam from the shower like completely engulfs Jesse, and then Freddy walks out from where Jesse was standing.
Which I gotta comment on the sound design on that particular moment, because it's like it kind of goes silent for a second, and then as soon as you see the silhouette of Freddy walking through, that great, again, like that sound effect that you were talking about earlier just kicks in, and I love that.
Yeah. It's interesting to me that there's a lot of people that are very on the side of what you guys are saying here in the comments. Like, I think that it's an interesting theory, but I'm very surprised that some people hold it so to heart. Like this is definitely what it is. I mean, it's cool. It's fine. I don't care. Like,
I'm not saying that's 100% that's what it is. I'm just saying that's the way that I looked at, that I kind of always looked at it.
I think it's just a perspective.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's exactly the correct way.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it's definitive or anything.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I was just talking to Kaylee about this recently, that they originally intended for in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 for Laurie to have been doing the killings the entire film.
Yeah.
And then Michael was dead and gone, which personally, I mean, you guys know me. I'm not a traditionalist at all. I like when they change things up. I like when they pull the rug out from under us. I love Roy. I love Halloween 3. I love the oddball movies. So throwing that in there and having Laurie revealed as the killer is totally fine for me. And I thought that,
I love that theory. That's a great theory.
Yeah.
And it would make sense to the film as well. Like it, because the Rob Zombie films, say what you will about them, they're grounded in reality as much as possible. You know what I mean? I mean, sure. I mean, you have like the white horse vision stuff and stuff like that. But again, it's the psyche, it's the psychological stuff. That's all that stuff is. But yeah, Laurie kind of going crazy after that. Like story wise, it makes sense after what she went through. I mean, I know we're not talking about Rob Zombie's Halloween. Just want to get that thought out there.
I mean, it kind of mimics because I never really noticed before this rewatch through, because Kaylee and I just watched Halloween 2 together, and I was realizing like, oh, this connection that Laurie has to Michael in this is an homage to Halloween 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is total Michael Myers and Jamie Lloyd
with connection. Yep.
Yeah. Which I never really thought about. So that's not the first time we've ever seen that in the franchise. Now, Granted, the last time we saw it, it was in a not so good movie. But Jamie does take up the mantle at the end of 4, and she's going to be the killer, much like Tommy Jarvis is at the end of Friday the 13th Part 5. And of course, no franchise ever actually follows through with that.
Right, of course.
Because the fans always freak out every time they try.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a YA novel series for Friday the 13th back in the day. It ran four books, and really it just dealt with people who like dug up Jason Voorhees's mask that had been calling to them, and then when they put it on, they were morphed into like a killer. They didn't turn into him like in Jason Goes to Hell or anything,
right.
But they just put on the mask, and the mask was cursed. I really wish, I've said this before, but this is something that I desperately wish I would have happened. I really wish that Jason would have got a new mask in every film.
Yeah, I would have liked that. That would have been cool.
That would have been such a neat thing. Like, ooh, I wonder what Jason's mask going to be in this movie. You know, it'd be the new thing every film. Like the first one, it's Sackhead. The next one, it's a hockey mask. Then she puts an axe through it, so he throws that thing away. And then, in the fourth one, he gets a different one. That would have been super cool. I don't know. Is there any franchise where the killer gets a new mask every time?
Not that
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know anybody. Yeah, I've never seen that before. Like it's so like that's one of the things in the Scream movies where it's like it's a different killer every fucking movie. Why can't they change the mask?
Right.
You know,
They get a different costume this time, right?
Right. Like they're not beholden to that thing. I don't get it. Anyway, so getting back to Nightmare. So we get the opening bus scene where, and what I think was really interesting about this sequence, and I think was really cool about this sequence, is it doesn't paint Jesse, the male protagonist of the film, as the hero type.
Right.
Like he hides behind the girls as Freddy's coming for them. He doesn't try to jump in front of them and be like, hey,
I got this.
Yeah, I got that. He's like, no, and he's like grabbing them and kill them, not me.
Human shield.
Yeah. So I think that's a really cool, and he looks sickly.
He looks so weird. He looks like an emo kid. Like when I saw that, I was like, why is he like, why?
I think honestly, and I think this is why, because he doesn't dream a lot in the movie outside of maybe if he's sleepwalking. He only dreams like that dream, and then the one where like the records are melting and he goes into his sister's room, and then down in the boiler room, he doesn't have a lot of dreams in the film. Mm-hmm. But what I thought was interesting about that scene is that I feel like that's how Jesse perceives himself, as weak and frail and odd. Yeah. Like he sees himself as this meek little, almost like anemic. Like he looks very pale and white and frail, and his hair's like slicked. It doesn't look like Jesse in this movie. Like a very different looking kid, and then he wakes up and he's got his hair done and he's got these killer dance moves, and
It's so great. Also, those girls in that scene are like making fun of him, kind of. Which, like, if you're gonna take like the homoerotic like repression sort of angle, like maybe that's also part of his. He feels like girls make fun of him. And he doesn't have a chance with them because he's so weak. I don't know.
Yeah. So now, do you guys get the impression that Jesse's actually gay in this movie? He has a romantic thing with Lisa, and it's her love for him that brings him out of Freddy.
But also,
he gets kissed by a girl.
At the end, he doesn't really, he's still. He does get kissed by a girl, but the end of the movie, like he's still on the bus.
I mean, there's very feminine, like straight guys out there.
No, there is. Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do about his like mannerisms or anything. I don't even think he's particularly effeminate, really. I think he's actually super cute and very endearing, and it was really charming to watch him in a lot of scenes.
He's very boyish.
It's also possible he could. I mean, like if we really have to talk about the sexuality, I mean, he could have been bi. Like, it doesn't mean that he has to be like a full-on gay.
One way or the other.
Yeah,
you get one.
Yeah, he can have both. Why not?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he is fluid, if you will.
Yeah, very fluid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. As I said, Lisa kisses him, and that's what makes him break through. And he even says, "I love you," which I feel like it's a little early.
Yeah.
Like,
he's kind of desperate and also thinks he's gonna die. So
true. It's like I might not get any more chances like this. So
yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely don't buy their romance.
No.
I think that's one aspect of the film where they just did not capitalize. But that could be the fact that he's a homosexual in real life, and they didn't have the greatest chemistry because he just couldn't act into being into her. I don't know.
Right. Like they don't focus too much on the romance of it. She seems more like a best friend figure to him.
Yeah.
She seems more into him than he is into her.
Right, exactly. Like she's into him, but he doesn't really.
I mean, he's being possessed every night, so he's kind of got other things on his mind.
Right, exactly.
She's like, why don't you want to?
He's like, I don't have time for this right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't think their chemistry was awful, to be honest. Like, I think when she goes to help him clean his room and stuff, like that's really cute. And I don't know. I didn't think it was horrible, but he does end up having like a mental breakdown. So it's like definitely more one-sided for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw this back in the theater in '85. I'm 52 now. And back then I never thought anything gay about the movie. So there you go.
There you go.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, do I see it now? Yeah. When I was growing up, did I see it? Not at all. Yeah, Snyder hangs out at gay clubs, so Snyder was definitely gay to me.
Yeah, so what,
Yeah. But I don't know, like, I'm trying to think of like Jesse's character throughout the movie and if he's really like obviously gay in it. Like, I don't think there's any like super obvious things. I think it's all very like subtle if it's there, and yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's actually really the focus.
I agree.
No.
Like I said, she's feminine.
If it's going to be a focus, like it could be like teenage sexuality is already weird. People have, like they want to experiment. They have interesting thoughts about the same sex, and that's totally fine. So maybe that's playing into it, but I don't think that it's like, he's super gay, and I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, and I don't know. I guess when people talk about the homosexuality of the film, I'm always kind of wondering if they think Jesse Walsh, the character, is actually gay, or if the undertones of the film are what are gay to them. So I just don't. Yeah, I don't see Jesse as gay. I see Jesse as a young kid who is awkward and feminine and not very sure of himself, and he's being possessed.
So he's going through a lot. Yeah.
He's going through a lot.
Puberty is rough. Body's changing. I guess he's past puberty a little bit.
Literally,
He's 17.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. What is he? 17? 18?
Yeah, that's
what is he in this movie?
When does puberty end?
I think I'm still going through it.
Oh, your voice has finally dropped.
I think I just started at like 25.
Yeah, I don't know. So, all right. So bus scene, we get this, as I said, we get this version of what I think he thinks he looks like. He's not the hero. He hides behind him. I like the, I guess models of the bus up on the little cliffs, and that was before CG, and it looks like a toy a little bit. That's okay. I dig it. I dig it. I can
That's
dig
part of
it.
its charm. Yeah, like I don't mind it.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, it's dated, but that's okay. But do you guys suffer from nightmares much?
Yes.
No, not really.
Well, not anymore, but I used to have like reoccurring nightmares pretty often, and yeah, when I get really stressed out, I have pretty bad nightmares.
Like,
they're no fun.
Do you remember them?
Usually, yeah.
Are you questioning your sexuality in these dreams? Or
No.
do we need to
Not
have a
typically.
talk?
Maybe. No.
I love you, Lisa.
Yeah. No, my they're usually stress related for me for the nightmares. So like work related stress dreams. And then when I was younger, I had recurring nightmares about my parents chasing me and my siblings around the house wearing like aprons made out of flesh, and like they had butcher's knives and they were trying to kill us. Yeah. And that was awful. But I don't have those anymore, at least not those specific ones.
Well, glad to hear that.
Yeah. Me too.
So I'm curious on the comment section here, who here has nightmares on a pretty regular basis? I'll be very curious on, or if you don't have them at all, I want to see people chiming in about nightmares in general. I'm super curious on how the horror community is with nightmares, because I think I would assume that the thought process on horror fans is that we all just like go to sleep every night and have horrible nightmares.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I never have them.
Yeah.
Never. I mean, literally, I never, ever, ever, ever have them. They just do not happen in my life.
Very lucky of you. I mean, I've had, too many.
Yeah, I did a little bit when I was younger, but it was mostly because I just wasn't used to that yet. Now I'm so like desensitized by horror movies. I'm good.
Yeah.
It's rarely horror movies. I mean, there's a few horror movies that I've seen that will make me have nightmares, but I don't know. It's also different because like the nightmares that you have, I feel like tend to be more personalized. I like my nightmares.
There you go.
He's like, please, tonight, I'm going to eat a bunch of chocolate before I go to bed. I have nightmares frequently. Not really. No nightmares, but sleep. I do get sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis is the
I
worst.
get sleep paralysis a lot, unfortunately. But I'm not having nightmares when that happens. But fuck, it is a nightmare. Falling nightmares. I think
I've had some of those. Yeah.
I'm more like where I'm like wake up from the feeling I'm about to start falling. I get that, but like an actual nightmare where I'm just like falling for a while, I don't think I've ever had that. You get that though?
I did a little bit when I was younger. Yeah.
I've had falling nightmares before, and that jumping whenever you're like falling asleep. That's pretty common.
Yeah.
I already read that one. I've had sleep paralysis. Yeah, it's terrible. Some of my best Freddy lines are in this one. Yeah. So we'll get really there. Don't jump ahead, Mr.
Wait your turn.
Yeah. You do it. Don't you steal my thunder. So yeah, it seems, I mean, we only got maybe 4 or 5 people. Oh, here crew is, I have tons of paranormal dreams very often that feel really real. Really, really real. Only a few horror characters I dreamt about. Michael, Candyman mostly, and just ghost in general, demonic stuff. Yeah, I just, it's funny. I'll have dreams where like Freddy or Michael or something show up, but they're never like trying to kill me.
Right.
Yeah, I'm always like, High five.
Bro.
So I made peace with them, I guess. You know, they're probably like, that guy's fucking psychotic, right? Don't fuck with that guy. So mad props, bro.
Mad props.
So then, yeah, and then we get Jesse's iconic scream, waking up from his nightmare, which is hilarious and just
It's great. Yeah.
So good.
It's so good. He's a scream queen. I mean, they made a documentary on him called
I was going to
Scream.
say, have you watched the documentary yet?
I have.
I have. It's great.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was telling Kaylee last night about that he was, you know, unfortunately he ended up getting HIV and his career went horribly after this movie, so much so that he basically left the country to get away from it, which is just, it's fine to not like a movie.
Right.
You know, but to like ruin someone's life who was involved in the film is just insane to me. I mean, if you really look at the history of Hollywood, it's pretty wild, like some of the stuff, especially if you look at like Star Wars in general.
Oh, yeah.
Ahmed Best, who played Jar Jar Binks, Jake Lloyd, who played Anakin Skywalker. Like these people, like Ahmed Best talked to, like, he went up on stage. He talked about how, you know, he was suicidal. He was like trying to kill himself. And then, you know, little fucking, you know, the little Anakin Skywalker kid, Jake Lloyd, he's in a fucking mental institution. He went to a mental institution because people hated this kid so fucking. I mean, I joke about the Shining kid and how much I want to,
yeah.
but I would never.
But that's a character. That's not
out.
right. Yeah, they're just,
you know. Oh no, that's the actor.
Oh,
No, but like seriously, like I don't know, man. I look at this stuff with you know, Kelly Marie Tran, and like she's getting death threats, and Daisy Ridley had to go and fucking like, you know, check herself into a mental health facility for a little bit and get therapy because of how much hate she was receiving. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, you don't like a movie, but like death threats and
right.
What is wrong with you?
It's not the actor's fault.
No, they're doing
even
their
if
job.
it is, and even if it is, it just doesn't mean they need to die
No.
at all.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. That's insane. I would never watch a movie. And the only person I want to kill during any movies I watch is myself. That's the only person's life I think about taking. When I sit there and watch Death House, I'm just like, I'm ending it. I'm done. I don't want to live in a world that this film exists in. So I don't think about killing, you know, fucking Kane Hodder or Tony Todd or anyone who is involved in that film. I think about just, well,
why me?
Why do I have to sit this? Why do I have to sit through this? Fuck me, man. But yeah, so then we kind of get introduced to Jesse's family, and when he comes down and interacts with them, I don't really feel like he has a great relationship with anyone. Maybe his mom.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But like his sister,
his mom is like the only one that's trying.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. She's actually putting in some effort.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dad's just like, what drugs you on? Like,
take you to a methadone clinic.
Mm-hmm. The methadone clinic.
His sister, though, I really like whenever she gets the, what is it, the Fu Manchu finger?
Fu Manchu fingers?
Yeah. That was a good scene.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I mean, she, of course, mimics the 1-2 Freddy's coming for you dance or jump rope type little melody there. Nursery rhyme, if you will. And I really like when he comes into his sister's room and like tucks her in. Mm-hmm. And he's like got the glove on, and then he like freaks the fuck out, like, oh my god, I tried to kill my little sister. Like, that shit to me is scary. I've talked about this many times, like in the past. Like, there's nothing that scares me more personally than me losing control and hurting my loved ones.
Yep.
Like, that terrifies me, especially if like someone like in this film is controlling your body and your like sister or your mother or whoever the fuck is like seeing, like in your version of events, they're seeing you.
Right.
So like
It's almost scarier, honestly.
yeah, like I'm sitting there thinking about like my kids thinking like dad's coming after them. And then after that, like let's say they survive, there's no coming back from that. Your kids are always going to be like, stay
Super
away from me.
traumatized.
Yeah.
You know, and that shit to me is just, it's terrifying. Like it fucks me up. I'd way rather have Leatherface chase me with a chainsaw or the Thing or any of that shit. Like you can come after me all day, but like taking control of my body and making me hurt loved ones is just terrifying, because it's like I've lost me and I've lost the trust that I'll never get back. And they, like in their last moments, they think that I killed them because I didn't love them.
Right.
You know, like
it's kind of like it's really not in the horror world at all. But Logan, the movie Logan, when Professor X is laying there. And Logan, like it's something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for with Professor X.
Right.
He can kill the whole fucking world.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's a great exploration of his character, though. I mean, what happens when Professor X, you know, gets dementia and he can't control his powers anymore, and he freaks out and he doesn't know where he's at, and he starts, you know, vibing, and it starts killing everyone around him. That's terrifying.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, I mean, it's an interesting, yeah, that's definitely a different take on that too. I do love that. But then, yeah, and then we move into probably one of my, probably in my top 3 favorite lines in the entire film, when Jesse's taking Lisa into his car, and she's like, "Aren't you afraid someone, you know, don't you have keys? Aren't you afraid somebody's going to steal it?" And he's like, "The deadly dinosaur?"
Yeah.
Like I mean, when I had a beater car back in the day, it was the deadly dinosaur. I could not help but name my car that. I love that. I love his interactions there with him. Just like, and that's a very lighthearted moment. Like when he laughs and she laughs, and it's really like totally one of the only like lighter moments outside of like the dance sequence. And I don't know much else. What else is there? There's very few like lighthearted, playful moments where he's like making a joke.
Yeah.
It's very seldom. Oh, I guess the exchange between him and Grady, and him being like, "Snyder shouldn't have called you out on that last play." And he's like, "Yeah, Snyder's got to stick up his ass. Yeah, Snyder's always got to stick up his ass." There's a little levity there for them. Like they're kind of buddies in that moment. It's interesting to me though, how like, I feel like Grady's popular, and then like him and Grady are like punching each other, and then fast forward the clock like 2 days, and they're sitting at the lunch table together. No one else is there but him and Lisa. It's like, wait, you guys are best friends now? How did this happen?
Right.
I don't understand how that leap happens. I don't understand how they're like buds. And Grady is so even tempered with him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He's so chill.
Like when he freaks out on him and kind of embarrasses him, yells at him in front of everyone in the cafeteria, he just kind of slaps him on the shoulder, like, you know, feel better, buddy. Like he just kind of takes out. He doesn't like come back and lash out irrationally towards him. He's just like, all right, like, you want me to leave? I'll leave.
He doesn't try to be a macho man and be like, what?
Not at all.
Go? Like, no.
Yeah.
Like,
so,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. Grady's the greatest, though. Yeah.
What did you? Sex bot.
He's a sex bot. He's a good looking guy. And then we get into school, and this is our introduction to Grady, and he's out there, and he's peacocking, he's fucking around, and he's we get the heads up play, and he gets knocked, and then we is Jesse okay? I even looked at this on my Blu-ray. Are Jesse's underwear pink?
I don't know. I
don't know.
I said I haven't looked, but
yeah,
white to me, but
yeah,
off white.
Yeah, it's almost like his mom washed him with like a red shirt, maybe a red and green sweater. Freddy was doing laundry over at his house, put his undies in there with it. I don't know. You know, when I saw that, when I saw that back in the day on VHS, the first, you know, when I used to watch, I always used to think that we just saw his ass because it was almost like, you know, fleshy, pinky kind of color to me. And I was like, is that his underwear? Or is that his ass? Because then the girl remarks, nice ass.
So that's actually, I thought it was his ass too. I didn't realize that it was like entirely underwear. I thought you could just see it when it was like ripped and then his butt was out.
No, you only see his underwear.
Hmm.
So that's why I've always looked at it like, is he just wearing pink underwear? That, I mean, that would definitely be an argument towards his homosexuality.
Sure, yeah.
You wear pink tighty whities, man. I don't know.
But
Even in the 80s. But yeah, so they get into their little physical altercation, which, you know, with guys, you can tussle a little bit and then buy each other a drink after and be best friends. That definitely happens. So they're out there, and then my favorite line of the entire film happens. No, not the fucking, you know, the good one with Freddy, but the one that he asks Jesse when they're out on the fucking field doing planks. He asks him if he's mounting her nightly or what. It's my favorite way to ask somebody if they're having sex with somebody. There's something about that line. I mean, I don't know. It's a toss-up between are you mounting her nightly or what, or are you porking her pooper? Those are the two.
That was the one that I always laughed at.
Those. I mean, it's a I don't know. It's a toss-up, right?
Right.
Good old porking of the pooper. Kaylee loves what I say.
I hate that so much. Mounting her nightly is much better. Yeah. Much better.
What if you mount her pooper?
No.
Nightly. Are you porking her pooper nightly or what?
Oh.
Do you mount her nightly to pork her pooper?
Do you mount her before you pork her pooper? Or
no mounting, no porking, and no poopers. None.
How about nightly? Is nightly still allowed?
Nightly is allowed. None of the other things are.
So you can't take nightly from me now.
I can't mount anything nightly? Wow, that sucks. All right. Well, there goes my Friday night plans. Anyway, so yeah, then from there, I didn't take notes. I've seen the movie about 6 trillion times, so I think I can remember it pretty much beat for beat from there. Mm-hmm. But then this is when we move into Jesse kind of giving Lisa a call and being like, "Hey, want to hang out tonight?" And his dad's just like, "No fucking way! You're unpacking this room." And then we get for you guys, is it Crispin Glover's dance in Friday 4?
Oh no,
Jesse Walsh's dance in Nightmare 2.
Jesse.
I've got to go with Jesse on this one too. It's just
it's so cute. It's so cute. Like, it's just adorable. I love that. When
he puts on the tape,
yes,
and then he just like puts the fucking, dumps the box in the drawer, and he's like, "How do you like that, Dad?"
It's so good.
I love Crispin's dance in Friday 4, but something about the way that Jesse just moves around the way he does, I'm like, okay, yeah, I gotta.
His snapping to the beat too is just like, it's so perfect.
It's all about closing the drawer with his ass. That's back it up. Back it up.
The end of it too, with like the toy thing, and then it pops, and they walk in, and he's just like, "Yeah." Oh, it's so good. Such an awkward like teenage, like that would totally happen.
Oh yeah,
totally would happen for me. I'd be in there pretending to pork poopers. That's so the popping. I'd be popping in a pooper.
Why? It's like the pee sound for some reason just makes it like obscene.
It's so good. It's so fucking good. I love the glasses. Like, why does he own those? Like, why does he have these? Like,
I have a feeling those are Mark Patton's glasses that he just had.
He's like, hey,
I can see that. Yeah.
Can I bring some props on set? He's like, this is the dance I do in the club. Which is, yeah, I mean, that's the rumor, right? Is that Crispin Glover, that was the dance that he was doing in the clubs in the 80s. That was legitimately how he danced. That was not choreographed for the film, which makes me wonder how much of this dance was improvised by Jesse, or was Jack's shoulder actually being like, all right, now close the drawer with your ass.
The direction on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was one of those things where he was like, just dance.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, because there's a lot of different shots on that.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's not like one take from a distance.
Right.
It's like close-ups on the ass, him in the bed, close-ups on him popping the toy. Like, it seems very like the Crispin dance is all one take from away. You know what I mean? It's very much him doing it. It's obviously him, but I feel like with the Jesse dance, that feels choreographed. That feels on purpose. Like, now, like, that's a very odd direction. Like, now close the drawer with your ass. You know, and to the beat of the music, and snap your fingers and put on these really gay glasses and pop the toy. And I don't know. Was that like in the script? And did they actually, like, did he like work with a dance instructor? Or,
no, I don't think that happened. I bet if anything, it was just like, okay, like, let's come up with a dance, and like they just made it up together, like the actor.
Yeah, say Mark Patton talked about that scene in the documentary. I don't remember exactly what the scenario. I'll have to go back and watch it again. But yeah, there is a scene in there if you have a chance to check that out, where he does talk about that, the whole dance thing and how that happened. So
who did?
Mark Patton. In the
Oh,
documentary, like there's a section of that where he talks about that dance scene. I just don't remember all the details from it.
So it took me years to appreciate this movie. Similar to Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, it has such a different vibe than Part 1 did, and I'm gay, so the gay overtones didn't bother me.
There you go.
So, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's definitely, for the Nightmare films, it's of the first 5, it's the least Nightmare on Elm Street of the 5.
Yep.
I do understand that, because they do kind of play with the rules of it a bit, and which I never had a problem with. I don't like, or I don't care that, you know, the rules set up in one aren't what the rules are in this one, because I feel like this is the evolution of the character.
That's what I'm saying. This is part 2 still, so you know you could do something different. It's still very early on to where you can make new rules at that point.
Sure.
Like if you did it at, like, say 6, well, they changed rules in 6 anyway, so what the fuck am I talking about? But yeah, like if you did something like this in part 6, I think it would be a little bit different.
I mean, you mentioned like, oh, if it was in part 6.
I just threw out a number, okay?
Well, 6 is the most different of the franchise
100%.
by far.
Yeah.
Freddy's Dead is fucking crazy. I don't know what they were thinking with that.
Like,
movie.
yeah, Freddy's dead, all right.
Yeah, Freddy is. You killed him.
You did.
It's over for Freddy.
Mhm.
It's such a bizarre film. It's like, it's almost like, it almost feels like a Freddy spoof movie.
That's what I was talking about last night. How I was like, yeah, it's the worst Nightmare movie. But if you watch it as a Nightmare spoof, there's some fun to be had there a little bit.
Yeah, it's like Scary Movie 6. Freddy's Dead.
Right.
Yeah. It's a fucking weird movie. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's definitely moments in it that, especially when I was a kid.
Yeah.
When I saw it as a kid, I was like, "Oh, this is fun! Look, he's killer graphics."
Great.
Like,
I hearing from you, Carlos.
Yeah.
The map says we're fucked.
Yeah. Oh, that is hilarious.
That's the best part. Yeah.
That is objectively funny. The map says we're fucked. That is so good. That might be the funniest line.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, definitely top 3 funniest lines.
Yeah.
Mounting her nightly for me is probably number 1, but
Poking her pooper.
Yeah, Poking the pooper. That's in Freddy's Dead. That's in Freddy's Dead. That's where I got that from.
Have you seen Freddy's Dead?
What's up?
Have you seen Freddy's Dead? No. Okay.
No, she's not fucking, she hasn't wasted her life like us.
Right. She's not psychotic.
Freddy.
Right.
God damn that movie. But it is what it is with that. I don't know. I don't think though. I mean, the remake is the worst for me. I don't like much about that movie, and I'm not the remake hater.
Right.
I've watched it a few times and I've really tried to like it, and I can't seem to get there with it.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't blame you.
Yeah. Hey Spencer, let's trip out.
Oh,
Fucking
man.
Freddy's dead, man. But yeah, so then I don't know. I mean, I guess we don't need to go through the entire film beat for beat. I was just kind of doing that because I don't have the notes here. I guess we can kind of just skip to Grady's death sequence. Because I think that is probably the best practical and best gore in the franchise.
Yeah.
Like Mark Patton getting fucking cut open from the inside, Freddy's eyeball in the back of his throat.
Oh, I love that shot.
So good. It's so
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, see, okay. What I don't understand here is this. I'm going to argue against your guys' thing once again. Why would Freddy bother cutting through Jesse, ripping him apart just to take over? Like, it's very theatrical and it seems to only be for Jesse. If Grady's not seeing that, why is Freddy doing it? He's cutting through his chest. He's ripping Jesse off of his body as Grady freaks the fuck out. If Grady's not seeing that, why would Freddy even bother? Wouldn't he just take over Jesse's body?
Well, I mean, it doesn't mean that he doesn't want to torture Jesse too.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if you thought that was happening.
Don't you feel like he's torturing him enough by fucking murdering his friend and making him think he did it?
No, I think that also having the body horror of like having somebody claw their way out of you is even more traumatic.
I think it was kind of like, again, it's that perspective thing that Freddy has now officially taken over. Like, Jesse is about to going bye-bye.
Yeah.
Soon, so.
But Jesse isn't gone bye-bye.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, we're getting to that point. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get you. And I think maybe that's a mistake of the film is for that scene should have been where Jesse was taken over for the rest of the film because he literally rips Jesse's body away.
Mm-hmm.
But then he comes to Lisa's house and he's him again.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, are you like, at what point are you taking Jesse's body over? How many times do you have to be him to be him? Like, why is it that once he's at the party, he finally is Jesse for sure now? You know what I mean? Like, he gets to Lisa's house after Freddy's already torn through him. He's already killed somebody under his name. And then he comes to Lisa's party, and then all of a sudden, he just turns right back into Freddy, and then he's Freddy for the rest of the film until Lisa kills him. Like, it's very odd to me.
Really
that doesn't make any sense.
There's no reason for it. I think you're right. If he had just permanently been Freddy after killing Grady, it also would have made it feel a lot more like complete whenever he does pull the Freddy off of him at that weird like warehouse place, or I don't know where they're at.
I think he should have done the cutting himself out of Jesse thing in front of Lisa.
I agree.
So that she would have seen him cut himself out of Freddy. Yep. That would have been really nice.
I think that would work much better that way.
Yeah. So I think that if in Grady's room, he maybe just sees him as Freddy versus him cutting himself out of there. It's just like in the rest of the film where Snyder sees him as Freddy, the party, I guess. Yeah. Who else sees him as Freddy after that? Before Grady and after Snyder? I don't think anybody. Does anybody?
I don't think so.
Huh. He goes into his sister's room, but he's not Freddy.
Right.
So Freddy only takes over his body 4 times before he's Freddy fully. I just don't know why it takes him so many times to just take his body over completely. That's kind of odd to me. And as I said, the cutting himself out of Jesse, that should have been it. Jesse's dead at that point. He literally fucking tore the guy apart. He cut his body off of him. He should, when he says Jesse's dead now, that would have made more sense had he fucking cut,
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
So
I do want to talk about Mark Patton's performance in the scene where he kills Grady and he's looking at Freddy in the mirror and he's like crying and the snot's coming out of his nose. Like Mark Patton acted his ass off in that scene. So just wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
I loved him throughout the movie, honestly. I think all of his acting was just phenomenal. In the beginning, whenever they find the diary and he has like that tone shift, that's so smooth. But
and the music helps that a lot too.
It does, yeah. But it's very natural feeling, and but that mirror scene was great. It was really, really good.
Yeah, and it's a very cool shot as well.
Yeah.
Just from a filmmaking perspective of just kind of doing that kind of skewed angle and him looking at Freddy in the mirror and him throwing his something at the mirror and shattering it, and Freddy's still in there laughing like you can't get rid of me. No matter how hard you try. Did the cops who were coming to that, who called the cops? I'm guessing the neighbors,
right?
And they got there pretty damn quick. Really, response time,
which never happens.
Yeah. The response time in Springwood is really fucking good. Probably around, how far does Jesse live from Grady?
It's got to be right around the corner.
Why does Jesse even know where Grady lives? They've known each other for like 2 days.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
And it's like he just sneaks into Grady's room and fucking Grady's just totally fine with it.
Yeah. Maybe they are boyfriends.
No, what's up, man? What are you doing here?
Yeah, what are you doing here again? Time to support my pooper. Yeah, and she's female and she's waiting for you in the cabana and you want to sleep with me. So that scene is great. I find it so he's got the same father as Ferris Bueller, which is good. But his mother doesn't really seem to be that miffed. I mean, he did just push his grandma down the stairs, so maybe she's like, good. Kill him.
That was my mom.
It would have been hilarious. This is a total missed opportunity. Total missed opportunity of the movie. The dad and the mom come to the door and they're free. He's freaking out. He's clawing at the door. Mom, dad, help me. And the dad's trying to get in. And then just like right before Grady gets killed, you see like an old woman walk into the frame and she has like a neck brace on.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
And then she like sees him die and she's like, good.
What's going on there?
If you would have saw an old woman with a neck brace on, that would have been amazing.
Oh
my god, he really did push her down the fucking stairs.
That wasn't a joke.
Grady's a monster. Grady deserves it. Yeah. I have to shout out the fact that when I was growing up, my mother was dating a guy for many, many years. Basically a stepfather to me. It was my mom's boyfriend for 9 years. And he was in the band King Cobra, and their poster is featured behind Grady when he's screaming for his life. And this is the reason we had this movie when I was growing up, because they sent everyone in the band a copy of the movie because their poster is featured so, centered in the shot. So anytime I ever watch this movie, I always see my mom's ex-boyfriend in the back as Grady screaming for his life. It's just, but I love the scene. Grady's death could have been better, shown more. Just kind of the claws through the door. It's okay. I think it's traumatizing for the parents, which is good
because you don't know what's going on behind that door. So from their perspective, that's all they see. Yeah.
I think the dad might need to start working out, though.
I think so. Yeah.
It's really not hard to
I'm
get
with you.
through a door like that. Those doors
Yeah, it
are.
wasn't fucking titanium.
No.
It wasn't your bathroom door from Saw. Like, it's an easy door to get through.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd get through that door pretty quickly. No problem.
Yeah.
But the mom does. She just seems so like whatever. She's like, can you just die already? I need to get back to sleep.
I gotta work in the morning. I ain't got time for this.
Yeah. So you got the mom who doesn't seem to care, and then on the other side of Lisa's life, you got the dad who overly cares and wants to play. Lawrence Welk is that what they say it is, or is that from American Beauty? I think that if I have to listen to these Lawrence Welk's albums again, I'm gonna fucking
Oh, that's American Beauty.
That's American Beauty. That line is.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what's the record that they say there that he comes out and plays.
Oh, I don't
They're like, she's like, your dad's not gonna DJ again, is he? He played nothing but something. I can't remember who was on that, but fuck, man, do you imagine like you're like 17, you have all these cool kids over to your party, and your dad's out there like playing fucking music from like the 40s.
From the 40s.
I'd be like, bro, you gotta go.
Sucks, yeah.
Dad, you gotta go.
Dad, stop. You're embarrassing me in front of my friends.
Yeah, he's pretty embarrassing. There's no doubt about it. And then the mom basically like fucks him into submission so that her daughter can have a good part. That's a good mom.
Right.
Great mom.
Yeah.
Let them have their fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good mom. I feel like Jesse could have utilized that big old tongue better than he did.
Right?
I think Lisa might have
in the wrong spot, yeah.
Had a pretty damn good birthday party.
No.
Like, Jesus Christ, you're licking my foot.
Oh my
How
god.
you doing that?
With that though,
Yeah.
like it's so gross and diseased looking.
Well, if your eyes are closed, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
Got to put a condom over it.
Oh my god. I did not like the visuals. I'm kidding.
See, people understand. His dance is classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, Barlow. Salem's Lot is my favorite Stephen King novel. Good call. Yeah.
All right.
Baby, drive me crazy. I love it. But yeah, so I don't know. The party scene, then that's kind of where we move to. He comes over. Now, you're a young girl. You barely know a guy. He shows up at your house covered in blood. And he says, I killed Grady. Your high school gym coach was just murdered.
Right.
This guy's been acting crazy for days.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes to your house literally covered in fucking blood and is like, I killed Grady. And she's just like, it's okay.
It's fine. It's fine. We'll work it out.
Okay. It's all right. Everything's okay. Her reaction to me is a little off.
Yeah, I don't quite buy that either. It's like,
Yeah.
I get she's trying to help him and
Mm.
she's trying to understand what he's going through, but yeah, I was like, if looking at that, I don't know if I would be so forgiving. I'd be like, dude, you gotta go. You gotta bounce.
Yeah. The only reason he should have been covered in blood is that big old thick tongue broke her hymen and it just
Oh my
right all over
god.
it. like a balloon filled with period blood. Just
What?
surprise.
Uh,
Oh my god.
That's
sorry, I forgot to tell you.
Yeah, he's got a tongue puncher hymen with that fucking diseased tongue. Anyway, so
Moving on.
then he then we move in and then he starts freaking out. And this is what I'm talking about, though. He was literally just Freddy 2 seconds ago.
Right.
And then he comes over to Lisa's and he's like, he's coming, he's going to kill again. And he can't. Then he's just Freddy 2 seconds later. I just don't understand.
Well, you know how we were talking last night about like the micro sleeps, like micro napping?
Micro napping, yeah.
Maybe that's what's kind of happening where like Freddy can take over and whenever he's asleep or about to fall asleep, like losing consciousness. And that's why he can snap out of it because it's not like he's asleep all the time.
I think he's still asleep when he walks over to Lisa's. Yeah.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, I think he sleepwalks over to Lisa's. And he's still asleep at that point because as Kaylee had pointed out to me last night, like he's drinking nonstop Coca-Colas, and he's taking stay awake pills, and your body can only take that for so long. So when he passes out at Grady's, he's been up for days. So it would suffice us to say is that he would have basically like fallen into a coma almost. And at that point, he's just kind of walking around. And I think that he's trying to hold on to whatever is left of him. And he just can't fight it any longer. Once he gets to Lisa's, it's like, it's interesting that he comes to Lisa's house when he's basically like, he's going to kill again. And I have no control.
Right.
Like, then why'd you come here?
Also, nobody stopped him when he was walking down the streets. I was like, wait a minute, what's up with that guy?
Yeah. Why are you covered in blood?
Maybe that's why the cops got there so quickly. They saw him
There
walking
was-
down the street and they called the cops as he was walking over there. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Well, no, he gets to Grady. They get to Grady's house in like 30 seconds.
Right.
And are these the like where? I guess he went through the backyard. I know he knows the layout of Grady's house very well.
Right.
He knows where the
Again,
backyard is.
why he knows that? I don't know. I can't.
I don't know. I mean, Grady knows where he lives.
Right.
We know that.
Right.
I love Grady's. I love everything Grady says. He's like, you can tell your old man he's a real chump. I fucking love that shit. It's we just fuck, man.
Grady's
That
the best.
shit kills me every fucking time. Tell your daddy's a real chump. He brought this psycho house. His dad, Clue Gallagher too. Cool horror actor. But his dad's a fucking asshole. His dad's such an asshole throughout this whole film. He just like starts, as you said, it's just like, what drugs are you on? And I don't know if your kid's acting like that though. I mean, I don't know what your response is gonna be.
Right. I mean, your mind's probably racing to all these possibilities. Like maybe there is some kind of drug.
Yeah, but
yeah, it's just the way he comes off the whole movie. It's the whole movie, like right from the beginning. Like you could tell this guy just doesn't.
I can go with this. He gave Grady a ride home in the Deadly Dinosaur.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'll buy that. Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? They were stayed late after school. Grady doesn't have a car. And he gave him a ride home. They're like BFFs. Why not?
Right.
Works. I'll go with it. It's all I got. It's all I got. Unless Grady put like an ad in a personal and it was like, I need someone to pork my pooper. And then Jesse just so happened to like, come on. Oh, this is Grady's room? Perfect. I know this guy. It's possible. Anything's possible. I like beating jokes to death. Fuck. But yeah, then we get to the classic iconic fucking party sequence. And when Jesse jumps through that window, now if you pay pretty close attention to that, it's clearly two different takes of the window breaking. But for the effects back then, it's a pretty damn cool effect.
Yeah.
And so Freddy is definitely manipulating things outside of himself in addition to Jesse. I mean, he's literally making the pool boil.
Right.
like he's able to control that stuff. So I don't see why he wouldn't be able to show everyone that he's like, imagine it would be pretty funny though to see like another version of it where Jesse's like, you are all my children now. And they're all like, oh my God, he's so scary.
Calm down.
Yeah. Calm down, man. So I just
dogs.
It's kind of disturbing, like especially if he was so unhinged.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not necessarily that he's like a big guy, obviously, but he doesn't have to be physically scary to be scary. No?
It's not working for me.
All right.
It's not working for me. They see Freddy. That's funny. But yeah, I want the alternate take of Jesse just running around the party. Ooh, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, how different would that scene play?"
Oh my!
It was Jesse running around.
You know that deepfake technology is out there. Somebody needs to make that happen.
That's true.
It'd be pretty funny though if like he started taking like, meat from the fucking grill and like putting it on his face to make him look like Freddy. Silence of the lambs. Very cable guy fucking.
Oh,
yeah, that'd be pretty fucking funny. I want to see that version of it so bad. But yeah, as we were kind of alluding to earlier, I think that's the best shot of Freddy in the entire film. I think that's the best line Freddy ever delivers in the franchise. The "You are all my children now." I think that's the most iconic Freddy line in the franchise. I know a lot of people like "Welcome to Primetime, bitch."
Yeah, that's fine. I just think this one over trumps that one for me.
"Welcome to Primetime" is very comedic.
It is, but it kind of fits with what that movie's going for. So it's like, okay, whatever. I guess we're doing this, but yeah. I would rather much take "You Are All My Children Now."
I also forgot to mention that in this, it's interesting to note that when Jesse sees himself as himself, he's wearing Freddy's glove. Mm-hmm. But when Jesse is Freddy is not wearing the glove, and the fucking, the knives are coming straight out of Freddy's fingers. Which is very interesting. That Jesse himself is wearing the Freddy glove, but Freddy doesn't really ever wear the glove in this movie. They're always coming out of his fingers.
Right.
Maybe that's kind of like, well, like he's not fully Freddy and he's not fully Jesse. Like, so when he's, wearing the glove, it's like that part of him that's Freddy manifesting. And then whenever he's Freddy with just the knives coming out, kind of the Jesse part's still there.
Right.
I like that, yeah.
I'm trying to think of if there's a moment when Freddy in this movie, I'd have to go back and watch very closely. Is Freddy? Wait, in the scene? Oh, we actually skipped over one of the best scenes of the whole fucking movie. When Freddy confronts Jesse by the stairs, and he says, "You've got the body.
I've got the brains."
It is a really good scene, yeah.
Yeah, that's a fucking great. That's another super iconic line that I feel like could be arguably in that top 5 fucking best Freddy lines ever. And then when he like the effects in that as well, are amazing. Brain,
like pulsing.
I mean, look at the fucking look at this movie compared to the first movie, like where. Like, oh my God, one of the probably the worst effect in the entire franchise is in the first movie when Freddy's wearing a Tina mask.
Oh yeah,
and he's just like, "It's me, Freddy."
Yeah.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's like, was I supposed to think that was her friend? is that what that was an attempt of?
Right.
That was. Have you guys? Has he? I doubt this. Maybe Chris has. Have either of you ever seen Thanksgiving?
I have actually, unfortunately. Unfortunately, yes.
This reminds me of the scene in Thanksgiving. The funniest scene in the movie by far is when the turkey in the movie, the killer turkey.
I was wondering if there was going to be a killer turkey.
Oh yeah.
That's good.
He shows up at a doorstep wearing a human face mask over his face, and someone just invites him in.
Right.
Full turkey body, full everything else, and the mask is the shittiest thing you've ever seen in your life. It's like cut out of paper, and he puts it over his fucking face. And then he's like, "Oh, hey, I'm here to see this." And they're like, "Oh, come right in, whoever you are." And then he like rips away the mask and like, "Oh my God, it's not you." That's what it reminds me of. That's what it reminds me of. That's how bad that scene is.
Yeah, that was a rough watch.
God, I love it. I love it. I love Thanksgiving. Now, it's if you've ever seen Thanksgiving 3 is the real testament because
I
that-
am not.
3 of them?
No, there's 2.
there's only
Oh.
2. Yeah.
There's 2, but the second one's called Thanksgiving 3.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
That makes
the plot of Thanksgiving 3 is that the turkey is trying to find and track down every copy of the notorious Thanksgiving 2 that they made in universe in the film because the movie's so bad he doesn't want it out. So he's searching out every copy of part 2 to destroy it.
I'm sure you'll love it.
It's legitimately one of the most bizarre movies I've ever watched. There's like a grandma puppet in it. There's like a woman, but is she supposed to be a grandma? And it's like a full-on puppet, but it's like a human-sized puppet. And you're like, why is this? It's almost like in Blood Diner when there's this like really weird puppet person for some reason in the movie. There's no other puppets in the movie. Everyone treats it like it's a person, but it's clearly a puppet in the movie. And you're like, why is there a puppet in the movie? Why is that person a puppet? I don't understand. It's amazing, is what it is.
And why are we supposed to believe that's a person for a second?
That's my biggest debate I think I've ever had was when I used to have a podcast. I would we talked about that and I was like, do they see that as like a stuffed person? Or are we supposed to think that they're seeing that as a human being? Because I can't figure it out. If you haven't seen Blood Diner, please, everybody in the comment section, everybody in the live stream, please, Kaylee, I will show it to you personally.
Okay.
Everybody else, gotta watch it. It's one of the greatest horror. It's my top 5 greatest horror comedies of all time. It is out of control. One of the most bizarre films you'll ever watch in your entire fucking life. We're actually going to watch April Fool's Day right after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Kaylee's never seen that. So we could watch.
That's a fun one.
Slaughter High as well. That's another April Fool's horror movie. But
Slaughter High.
we got to watch April Fool's Day. It's cool. It's got a great cast. I mean, one of the greatest 80s ensemble casts ever from all of my favorite films of the fucking 80s, whether it's Summer School or fucking Valley Girl or, even Ginny from Friday the 13th Part 2 is in it as well. So, this is what's up. I own that best on Blu-ray as well, buddy. April Fool's Day is great, Kaylee.
I'm excited.
Here is how we spell Kaylee. There you go. Proper spelling. But that's, April Fool's Day is good stuff.
Yeah. 86 is good stuff. Don't watch
no
that.
spoilers, anybody.
Don't watch that 2008 one, though.
Oh,
Watch the 86
God.
one. Yeah.
Woo.
Terrifying.
I don't know, man. You guys were defending the Prom Night remake, so I'm not sure.
Look, okay.
I'm not sure if the April Fool's Day remake is any better. I think it's on about the same level for me. Chris is like, no, I got nothing.
I got nothing.
I'm not saying shit. That movie's rough.
Speaking of animals wearing human faces,
Yes.
those dogs.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Very in the mouth of madness.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Those were great.
Yeah. Those, so we got some, Rottweilers? Doberman Pinschers wearing human faces.
I don't know if they were Doberman Pinschers.
I think there were Rottweilers.
I'd say they look
Maybe.
like
Yeah.
Rottweilers, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know. I would
But
have
yeah.
them as pets.
Yeah. What does he say to that kid? Like, when he's trying to calm him down, and he's like,
Let me help you. He
Help
says, help yourself,
fucker."
"Help yourself, fucker."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Imagine though, yet again,
Jesse,
Jesse,
Jesse.
fucker.
help yourself, motherfucker.
Your guys,
No way.
his voice isn't that high. You guys are
It
just
is in some spots.
caricature.
Not far off.
In some spots it gets really high, but
Yeah.
yeah. Where he's like, my dad thinks I'm on drugs. My mom thinks I'm crazy. Like that's
Yeah.
one of the parts where his voice gets a little higher. Yeah.
Oh, and we also
Here
forgot
comes and goes.
the diary scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. His name is Fred. He takes me to the boiler room. Yeah. I love that. It's hard to not like speak about all my favorite little nuances about the film, like just stupid little things that I picked up on watching the film a trillion times. Like when she reads the address of the place, and he's like, "That's right here," and I'm always like, "No shit, dumb fuck." She knows she knows your address. She just got there. I don't know why I always say it too out loud. I'm like, no shit. She's well aware of what the address is.
Right.
Fucking prick.
I think it was adorable.
It is. He's very adorable.
It's just that one like little moment's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Thanks, Captain Obvious. We got it. But yeah, and then we move into the final sequence, basically, of Lisa coming to rescue Jesse because she's so in love with him.
Right.
After 3 days, and the whole time that she's talked to him. Okay, that's not true exactly. He knows Lisa, but they just moved in.
Yeah.
He fucking moves in on Lisa and gets her to give him rides really fast.
Yeah.
Like they've been there, what, a week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think they say something like that. Like, we've been here, you've had a week or something to unpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty early on in the film. There they mention it.
But he's already got Lisa hooked, and she's like walking over to his house. So Lisa's house has got to be really close to Jesse's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah, I was imagining she was like right down the street or something like that. Like she was pretty close.
She lives at Glenn's house.
Does she?
Glenn Close's house?
No. Glenn.
Glenn lives close.
Johnny Depp. Yeah. Johnny Depp's house from the first one. He lives across the street. She can see him undressing sometimes.
I used to watch him outside my window.
I know it's wrong, but anyway. But yeah, so yeah, she comes to save Jesse. And this scene, it's a stretch. She's, as I said, the romance is the weakest part of the film. I'm not buying that Lisa's risking her life to, like, I don't even so Freddy becomes Freddy, and then he just decides to go to like a vacant boiler area. Like, what is this? It's like a factory. Yeah,
I don't really know what that location is. It's
why
cool.
is Freddy there? Why does he go there? Why isn't he out like rampaging through? Like, why didn't he kill everyone?
Yeah, it's just very familiar to him. He's like,
so a huge missed opportunity for the film.
Didn't we say that she used to, or that Freddy used to work there when he was alive, whatever it was?
Well, yeah, we know. Right. Yes, that's
sure. It's familiar to him.
Sure, but the big missed opportunity for me is the film should have stayed at the party, and Freddy should have started hacking all of those kids.
I agree.
He should have fucking went on an absolute rampage and murdered at least half of the kids there. That would have been a great moment to just up the body count, really showcase your practicals, gore effects, really get some killer shots in there of death sequences. That would have amplified the film for me for sure. Had he went around and just hacked kids, like hacked at some kid's face, and then he falls into the pool, and then he like comes up and his face is boiling off, and where his face has been slashed, like the water starting to eat that away because of how hot the water is. You know, stuff like that. Like they really could have fucked with. They really could have fucked with the gore and the kills and stuff. Now the MPAA probably would have shot all that shit down.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
But the fact that he's just like, you are all my children now, and then he just leaves and he just goes to like a vacant area. Like, peace.
He's an absent father.
Now, do you think that if Lisa's dad shot Freddy, that Freddy would have died? Jesse would have died too, along with Freddy? Like, was he vulnerable to the point where a shotgun would have just killed him? That would have been it? Because she blocks the, like, don't hurt him. Would he have died?
I don't think so. Wait, so what you're asking if Freddy would have died or if Jesse would have died or if both of them would have died?
If they would have both died simultaneously.
I don't think so.
No.
Because if you look at if we're taking the Grady scene, the death scene,
I don't
clawing out
understand how that's true then, because you're telling me that that's Jesse standing there. If Jesse got shot, Freddy would have died.
But why? Okay, well then I guess the question is like, why wouldn't he have died though with Grady? Whenever he was clawing his way out, either like he would have been dead anyway.
Yes, that's why. But you're saying that didn't even happen.
No, I'm saying it's possible that's
in his head, that he's being torn apart, and that didn't actually happen.
So if it
Jesse,
is in his
in
head,
your version, in your version of this film, it's just Jesse standing there. If Jesse got shot with a shotgun, let me tell you something, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Okay, if it's in his head, then yes, that would probably happen.
But if Freddy really has taken over at this point and he's truly Freddy Krueger, I don't think the shotgun would have killed him. But Lisa seems to think that Jesse is still there enough that if Freddy's body is harmed, because she even tries to stab at him really lightly, and he's like, "Kill me, Lisa." That is a perfect impression, by the way.
Yeah, that was
I love you, Lisa.
I love you.
But I don't know. Like, would they have died? I don't know. But see, to me, it's Freddy, and he's very much Freddy at that point. That's why he has to literally fucking tear himself out of Freddy once he's done with Freddy's body being over his. Jesse's like he's like an onion. He's got layers. He's just emulsifying and peeling. It's like microdermabrasion or something. He's just some of those layers, and Freddy's underneath. Yeah, I don't know. And then the way like Freddy comes back at the party when he literally disappears in front of everyone, and everyone's like, "Where did he go?" That's, to me, that is just outright he's Freddy at that point. How the fuck Jesse disappeared is bullshit. There's no way. And then also how he pops up out of the ground and stuff, like what Jesse just like was hiding behind a bush and then like hit a fucking trampoline.
Yeah.
He like ran over, grabbed a trampoline and pulled it over and then jumped. And everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's Jesse Walsh." Run. I don't know. Yeah. I'm kind of being a dick with your guys' theory. I just don't.
Like I said, man, it's interesting. Both sides.
But yeah, and then she kills him with love.
Aww.
Freddy is vanquished by pure love.
I love you, Jesse. I know you're still in there.
Yeah. And then kisses her, and then Freddy just lights on fire for some reason. It's how hot that kiss was.
It was
a very hot kiss.
It was like, if I die, he dies. So he's like, I'm gonna kill Jesse now.
Which is not true.
Well, sure.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, that's probably what he was thinking. He's like, well,
she didn't kill him though. Like, he lit himself on fire.
So he committed suicide. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
he's like, "All right, fine, take your boyfriend. You clearly love him.
I don't want him no more."
Yeah.
He's trying to melt me nightly. Poke me in the pooper.
Poke me in the pooper now.
Poke me.
Yeah. He's trying to tongue punch my pooper.
Oh my God. Just the progression. Keeps getting worse.
But yeah, I don't know. I think Jesse dying with Freddy would have worked better.
I think so too.
You know, her having to finally sacrifice him. I love you, Lisa. Kill me.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I love you too, and kills Freddy and kills Jesse with it. And then even the cops show up and arrest Lisa for killing fucking Jesse and blaming her for the murders.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
That would have been great.
Yeah. You know.
Again, it would have been a nice spin too, because you wouldn't have expected to end that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're gonna make it out fine. All right, but
And then she's in her cell, and then Freddy starts coming through her.
yeah.
That would have been cool. She's like
That
in a
would-
mental institution, and then she like screams, and then in her mouth you see Freddy's eye, and the movie ends.
Yeah.
That would have been actually really neat.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, why didn't we get that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that would have been, or maybe yeah, like right here, you got Freddy is defeated by heteronormality. Yeah, I think like he was like, I think Jesse wants me in his body, and then he gets kissed by a girl, and he's like, he doesn't want me in his body. Fine, I'm out of here.
Right.
I'll go pork someone else's pooper. I'm out of here. Shit. I wonder how many people have picked up Porky the Pooper now from this. Like, we're going to go into their life and they're just going to start saying it at work.
Oh no.
And just start like, somebody's going to come back to me and be like, you son of a bitch, I lost my job.
I got fired.
I was in the break area talking about
What'd you
Porky
do? I poked her in the Pooper.
talking about tongue punching hymens and pork and poopers, and my boss was back there, and now I'm fucking without a job, you prick. I don't know. I love this film. I love the ending, you know, like even though I think I might have come up with a better ending.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did, honestly.
So what is the ending of this film? Are they asleep? Like, of course, this is a mirroring of the original,
Of the
ending,
original, yeah.
where it has to be. Oh, it's not
Oh,
over.
no. Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is Jesse dreaming in that sequence? Is it Lisa dreaming in that sequence? Is it her fucking curly-haired friend?
Kelly, I think is her name, yeah.
Yeah, I can't. It's funny. I can't remember her name. I don't really feel like they say it much in the film.
They don't. Like, she's only in, like, a few scenes. That's it. Like, she's not
That
in
guy that's like she's banging.
Yeah.
He's creepy. Like the way he comes up and grabs her and he's just smiling.
Yeah.
He's fucking creepy, man. Of all the guys in this movie, it would have been him running around the party. I would have been running. I would have been putting my hand over my pooper, like, no, leave it alone. Her name is Carrie.
Carrie. Not Kelly. That's the Kelly.
That's pretty close.
Pretty close. Yeah, Carrie. I like her
Yeah.
hair.
They don't say it enough for me to remember that one.
Yeah. But yeah, she gets fisted by Freddy. Freddy got fingered. Freddy got fisted.
Freddy got me.
Yeah. I don't know. Is Jesse asleep there? Is that happening? Or did Freddy really punch through this girl?
I took it as he was asleep.
Yeah,
I feel like,
I feel like
yeah.
So then the argument against the first movie is that in the first movie, Nancy was dreaming the entire film. Was Jesse dreaming this entire film?
I mean, he does like before he gets on the bus, he does that little victory jump and seems like he's pretty recovered from like all the killing of everybody. So maybe.
I personally think Mark Patton gives the best performance in the series. Pretty brave for a man to play a character like this, considering that he isn't a stereotypical masculine character. I agree. The coach was hilarious, and he does indeed always have a stick up his pooper. She stabbed him repeatedly, and it didn't affect him at all. I mean, she lightly like grazed his shoulder,
Mhm.
and
I thought it was like that going
opened
through.
up his shirt a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think it went like all the way through.
No.
No, she definitely wasn't stabbing him hard.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. The ending. I don't know. I feel like there are missed opportunities in the film for sure. I think that they could have structured things differently.
Yeah.
But overall, my favorite characters, my favorite scenes, my favorite lines, my favorite Freddy. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we did a pretty good job. Not just sitting here and blowing the movie and defending it like with blinders on and being like the movie's perfect and anyone who disagrees is a homophobe. No, it's like you don't like the film, that's fine. But if your reason for not liking the film is purely homosexuality, that's a rough reason.
Yeah,
that's not a reason.
No, it's not.
So, yeah. Anything else you guys got to say about this movie?
We didn't really talk about the lighting on Freddy that I wanted to mention real quick, because Freddy's lit very well in this movie. Like, I would say even better than the first one, you know, because there's a lot of, like, he's kind of hidden in shadows. You see just like a little bit for most of the shots we see him in for a good chunk of the movie. And I really like that. Like we were talking about earlier, the best that Freddy looks in this entire franchise, in my opinion. I'm with you on that one. The effects, for the most part, are top notch. There's a couple questionable ones in there, but yeah, I just
what's questionable.
Well, we're talking about the one where shit, I forget now.
The face thing.
Yeah,
that was in part one.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that one's in part one. But yeah, the effects are great. I like the way
Kevin Yeager does the effects for this, and that's why they're so fucking good.
Yeah, but the lighting, I really love the lighting of Freddy in this movie.
I did too. I enjoyed it a lot.
That's it for me. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh,
poor parrot.
Poor parrot with a cherry bomb stuffed all the way up his ass.
His pooper.
Yeah. My computer has like 2% battery left. It's probably gonna die in the middle of this shit. Technical difficulties all day. Hey, restarting that router worked.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Jesse was fucking with my equipment before I started.
Yeah, I sabotaged it.
Yeah. He's like so offended when his dad comes at him like, "What did you do?" It's so fucking funny, like how he responds to him. Yeah. It's just
that was a.
Oh.
It's yeah.
Okay.
Well, the stream just does it end? Does it automatically?
I don't know.
It still says we're live.
All right, so yeah.
Yeah,
this is a lot of fun. You guys in chat have been great. I'm taking over the show for a minute till it gets back. I seen an interesting question up here earlier. I can't pull it up though. It says, "Did Lisa live there when Glenn was killed and Nancy lived there?" I always wondered that. I don't think so.
Yeah, doesn't she say it's like before her time?
Yeah, it's like five years.
5 years ago.
First two movies. But yeah, this was a lot of fun, and Jason.
It was.
If he comes back, I want to thank him.
Yeah, hopefully he does.
I said, "Oh no." That's all right. That's all right. Now we can talk about Dream Warriors. Yeah, let's go another 3 hours. Talk about Dream Warriors. We talk about Dream Warriors and how Nightmare on Elm Street 4 dropped. It's not my show. I can't say. This will be found footage. Yep. It's the next Unfriended movie. We're shooting Unfriended.
Oh my god!
Now. Surprise.
He said he'll be back in 2 seconds.
1, 2, motherfucker.
Yeah, that was a lie.
You lied to me. Has anyone seen Evil Bong? I have not. I'm supposed to watch it this year for the first time. Have you seen Evil Bong?
No.
Okay. What's your favorite horror movie? Since we're on the.
Whoa!
I kind of took over the show for a minute.
Go ahead. It's all you, man. Everyone, I'm introducing my replacements. Yeah. I told you my computer was going to die. I know my computer. You know, it's funny. It lied to me too, like it always does. It was like 18% and 25 minutes left or some bullshit. And I'm like, you're a fucking liar. You're fucking lying to me. Yeah, I had to move the computer, so I forgot to bring the cord with me, and I kept looking down at it like,
Whoops.
how much is this gonna like get through this?
How long will we be able to do
pretty
this?
good though. It didn't just die right in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So Destiny and I were discussing, that person that was supposed to be on here.
Yeah.
We were actually talking about next week if we can all coax Kaylee into coming back. Ooh, baby. Her ears lit up there.
She's
No,
like, perhaps.
Perhaps. For what?
Doing a Paranormal Activity franchise retrospective.
Nice. I got homework this week then.
Yeah. Kaylee and I just watched all of the Paranormal Activities from 3 on. She'd seen 1 and 2, but I was showing those to her. So those are very fresh in her mind. And I know the franchise pretty much in and out. So, and Chris has seen
I've
1,
seen
2,
couple,
and
yeah.
1, 2, 3, and 4, but you barely remember 3 and 4.
Right. I didn't see 5 or 6 yet, so I gotta finish that. But yeah, I'm gonna binge through them back to back.
Okay. Also, I want to watch the deleted footage from all of the movies as well, so we can discuss that as well. It'll be fun. That'll be a fun one. I feel like that'd be kind of hard though. 6 fucking films and their deleted scenes. It's gonna be a buckle up, people. Buckle up. Yeah.
Better clear your schedule.
Yeah. We'll just do an all day one.
There you go.
So anyway, I guess that is it for us tonight, defending the greatest movie ever made. But thank you to Chris for coming on and spending some time with us. And where can they find your pretty face?
My pretty face is all over the YouTube sphere these days. But yeah, I have a channel with 2 other co. Destiny is one of them. She's been on the show a few times. And that's House of the Living Dead is the name of the channel. We talk mostly horror on there as well, because Destiny refuses to watch anything else but horror unless it's Clueless, Sweet Home Alabama, or Mean Girls. Yep, you can find me at House of the Living Dead. I'm on social media on Facebook as well, stuff like that, all that good stuff.
Okay. And Kaylee can be found nowhere.
Yeah, no.
You can't find me.
Yeah. But we love that she came on all the same.
Yeah, it was great meeting you.
It was so great meeting you, and it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I'm glad you came on, honey. So until next week, I think we will we'll be covering the Paranormal Activity franchise, where people get paranormal and activities. Paranormal Activity 4. This time, more paranormal.
Even more Paranormal Activity.
The Paranormalist.
The activity gets very paranormal this time. It's like para abnormal.
Abnormal.
It's so crazy. But all right, guys. Adios, everybody.
Adios.